One of the hottest debates among Manchester United fans over the years has been centred around Marcus Rashford. Should we keep him, or is it time to move on? In today's video, I'll be breaking down why I believe it's time to say goodbye to Marcus Rashford. Together we will be covering the Rooney/Rashford career trajectory comparison, Marcus's effect on the squad financially, and finally, his off-the-field antics. Now, before you grab your pitchforks, hear me out. I'm not saying Rashford is or ever was on Rooney's level. Sure, at one point I might have believed he had the potential to become United's all-time top scorer, but reality hit hard. This isn't about comparing greatness, it's about career paths. Rashford v Rooney. Wayne Rooney broke onto the scene at United at just 16 years old. Rashford wasn't far behind, starting his senior career at 18. But here's the question: can we use Rooney's career as a benchmark to predict Rashford's future? Let's dive in. Rooney was United's linchpin for years, playing 442 games between ages 16 and 28. During his prime, he was a machine, regularly producing over 20 goals/assists every single season, making him Manchester United's top goal scorer in history. But his decline began in the 2014-15 season, and even then, his numbers were still pretty impressive. 14-15 season, 14 goals, 6 assists. 15-16 season, 15 goals, 5 assists. 16-17 season, 8 goals, 10 assists. Let that sink in. Rooney's worst seasons still look better than what many of our current players, including Rashford, are delivering, which is a testament to how legendary Rooney was, even in decline. Both Rooney and Rashford peaked in their 8th season at United. Rooney hit 41 goal involvements in the 11-12 season. Rashford matched that with 41 goal involvements in the 22-23 season. But their low points tell a different story. Rooney's worst season at United, he still managed 18 goal involvements. Rashford's worst, a disgraceful 7 goal involvements. When things go bad for Rashford, they go really bad. Here's the key stat I want to highlight to you today. Rooney played 442 games before his performances noticeably dropped. Why does this matter? Rashford just played his 434th game for United. That's right, Rashford is nearing that same threshold. And guess what? We're already seeing signs of decline. Is this a coincidence? I don't think so. Some might argue that modern athletes are healthier and have longer careers than players from Rooney's era. On the flip side, today's game demands a tighter schedule, more matches, and higher injury risks. That means while careers may last longer, prime years might not. Is it a coincidence that Rashford is starting to show visible signs of decline as he approaches the same game count Rooney reached before his dip? Both were young stars who carried heavy workloads and played multiple roles across the front line. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Is it too premature to say that we're witnessing a decline in Marcus Rashford, or is he just a player out of form? In terms of visually looking at Marcus Rashford's performances, it's not hard to spot a player who appears to be out of ideas. His reluctance to take a man on in one-on-one situations can be frustrating for fans who have supported him despite his rough patches at the club, not to mention the endless images of dejected body language and frustration. Plus, overall lack of excitement and enjoyment out on the pitch really makes you question if the hunger for top-level football is still there. There's no doubt in my mind that the Manchester United board are going to be looking to offload Rashford in the summer transfer window, should his form not pick up this season under new head coach Ruben Amorim. Additionally, given the fact he's currently on $300k a week plus £75,000 in potential bonuses, it makes financial sense to move him on. To put how ridiculous Rashford's wages are into perspective for everyone, Garnacho has almost picked up double his goal involvements this season, and he's earning 16.6% of what Marcus Rashford earns. If Ineos want to fix our wage structure, Rashford either needs to agree to a contract for less money, which isn't going to happen, or he needs to be sold. The only two other players in the squad who earn this type of money are Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes. You can make an argument for Casemiro given his experience and credentials, on top of the fact it looks like he's returning to form. You can make an argument for Fernandes given he's the captain of the club and one of the most consistent performers over the last 5 years, but no sane person can make a case for why Marcus Rashford should be getting 300k a week for what he's providing to the team. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not all doom and gloom. Marcus Rashford has shown moments this season, but moments aren't good enough. We need consistency from a 27-year-old footballer. You're no longer a kid now. When we really break down Marcus Rashford's numbers this season, he's managed to grab 4 goals and 3 assists in 18 appearances. You may think that doesn't sound too bad, but when you look a bit deeper and realise 50% of his goals and 33% of his assists this season have come against a League One side in the EFL Cup, then it doesn't look all that impressive. Shout out Barnsley. Just looking at his individual player traits also makes for a sad sight. He's not creating chances, he's not touching the ball very often, leading to him ghosting in a lot of games, and he's now in the bottom 16% of wingers in the league for defensive actions, making him not just uncreative but also lazy. Given the fact that Amorim has emphasised that he wants his team to work as a unit and work hard for each other, I don't know if he's going to appreciate Rashford's apparent unwillingness to defend, unless he obviously plays him as a striker. Off the field antics. Just as I've been creating this video, photos have come out of Marcus Rashford attending a basketball game in America. Now, obviously it's the international break, players aren't required to be training non-stop, but in my opinion, you may disagree, I wouldn't be attending events like this across the globe if my career was in the position that Marcus Rashford's is. Some fans will think that it's completely normal to have this time off, and everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I don't think it's a coincidence that the type of players who do tend to shine bright for a short while but then fall off the face of the footballing earth in a couple of years tend to attend these events. Is it just a coincidence that players like Jesse Lingard and Jadon Sancho are both in obscurity right now, both seen at these clout chasing type events, and both happen to be quite close friends with, you guessed it, Marcus Rashford? Is his career now destined to follow a similar path? I'm not saying Marcus Rashford doesn't do good things. He has a history of charity work, but when you're a fan of the game, the number one thing you hope for is that your players are just as, if not more, obsessed than you are. And sometimes it does feel that Marcus Rashford's head simply isn't in it. In my opinion, it's time to cash in on Rashford. Although at one point in his career I was waving the Rashford flag because I did believe that the criticism of him was far too harsh and almost targeted, I do now believe it would be better for all parties to move on, whether he would admit it or not. I believe he's been tarred by the online abuse and his heart hasn't been in it ever since. Looking from the outside, I think we're going to see a further decline in Rashford's abilities over the next few years, and the time to say goodbye is now. Is it time to cash in on Rashford, or do you still believe he's got more to give? Make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you for tuning in, and if you enjoyed this video, drop a like and subscribe for more honestly biased sports content. Godspeed.